This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Tuesday. And no, I don't think I will, Warlord. We've been having a discussion on the Discord, which has gotten kind of lively. The dude from last night that kept wanting to post a link, actually posted a link to the video in the Discord. Ended up being a Tim Pool video. If I thought Tim Pool had something interesting to say, maybe I would watch it. We could mock it, but no, I'm doubting. I'm assuming it's the same story, the Fox story about the migrants. The supposed moving migrants in the middle of the night. I haven't even looked into it. Another one of those faux outrage stories circulates on the right. But the fact that I didn't see anybody tweet out about how stupid it is means he probably didn't say anything interesting on it. Because if Tim Pool did something stupid, I would have heard about it. We would have played the video. That would have been fun. Good content. What kind of content do we have tonight, you might ask? Shit, I don't know. I feel like the whole show is going to be us talking about Whoopi Goldberg and her weird comments on the Holocaust. Apparently racism has a lot to do with tonight's show. Are we going to the Golden Corral? Are we going to the Golden Corral? Are we going to the Golden Corral? Oh, that was a meme that was circulating that Sparkle sent me the other day. He complains that when we're out riding around, I'm like, is that a church? Is that a church? Is that a church? The entire time we're in the car, and that it annoys her and she has to turn up the music to drown me out. Oh, fuck. What are we talking about on the show tonight? The teen that was tracking Elon Musk's. What the fuck is that cat doing? Things are going crazy around me. The teen that was tracking Elon Musk's private jet is now apparently targeting other billionaires, so yay! Good on him. Kids are alright. We're gonna talk about all the artists that have joined with Neil Young. There's been a couple more. I said that like there was a lot. I was like, all the artists that have joined Neil Young. No. There's a couple more artists have joined Neil Young. But apparently we're going to look at data that says that boycotts are very short-lived. I'm already kind of jonesing for my Spotify. And I just happened to turn it off. Over there being really weird. What are you doing, cat? Is there some kind of bug on the wall or some shit? That one. That's what he does of a morning. He does that shit of a morning to try to wake me up, so I'll go in there and feed his fat ass. It's annoying. Why are you behind the flag? You respect that flag. Hell, I'm even wearing my Right Wingers Are Morons t-shirt tonight. Motherfucker, what do you got going on? I should record one of those outings with Sparkles. Like, it would probably be interesting. We talked about the time that I hooked up with that dude. And, Sparkles got catfished with food. We ended up going to the IHOP and the dude joined us and he was like mortified being with Sparkles and I out in public. Apparently we're a little weird. This is the meme that I sent Sparkles like right before the show. Terrifying fish walks on land, breathes air, and threatens to destroy Lithuania. Oh, fuck. Speaking of geopolitical strife. Apparently, the U.S. and Russia duked it out on the UN Security Council. The GOP is upset with Tucker Carlson about his stance on Ukraine. As I understand it, he's been cheering on Putin. The Senate Republican Re-Election Committee, I fucked up the name of it. National Republican Senatorial Committee, I think, is launching a podcast, apparently hosted by Senator Rick Scott. You know, that's bound to be interesting. Mitch McConnell is apparently breaking with the GOP and is chiding Trump over the comments he made about pardoning people involved in January 6th. It appears that candidates that have been backed by Trump aren't bringing in as much money, which could have something to do with McConnell's comments today. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to sum up the battle over the Supreme Court in about 180 seconds. We've got a nice little video. On the first day of Black History Month, a number of HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, were shut down because of bomb threats. Racism is going to permeate this show, I assure you. We're going to hear from Steven Crowder about his thoughts on the whole Whoopi Goldberg controversy. Apparently she had on the CEO of the ADL this morning. We're going to watch that clip. Plus, Joe Rogan promised to do better and then shared out misinformation in a tweet that has now been deleted. But, you know, everything lasts forever on the internet, so we have the tweet. Starting off tonight, we're going to talk about, speak of the devil. Joe Rogan posted 20 hours ago. Let's get back to talking about things that are really important, like primates and mushrooms. Good Lord, fucking do that. Talk about DMT and have on your comedian friends and other celebrities and MMA fighters, and nobody is going to have any beef with you. I fucking shit. I don't understand it. And then the thing last night with the right-winger, the entire time that I was criticizing Joe Rogan, he was accusing me of wanting to shut Joe Rogan up or wanting to censor him. That's not what censorship is. It doesn't make any fucking sense. You're actually trying to use a chilling effect to bully me into not using my speech to criticize Joe Rogan. Criticism is not censorship. That's one of the things that annoys me about right-wingers is they think people making fun of them online is censorship. It is not. But we'll get into that. First, the historic storm that is set to hit the United States, I think starting tonight. Let's get the AccuWeather forecast. Major winter storm is set to bury the Midwest in snow. A hazardous trail of ice. Oh, we've even got a meteorologist here.
We have a prolonged snow and ice event from the southern plains to the Midwest and into the Northeast beginning late tonight, lasting in the Friday morning. Here are the ingredients. First of all, we get a huge temperature contrast across the country.
2 cups flour, cup sugar, tablespoons of baking soda.
Arctic air will be coming on southbound. In fact, we're going to have temperatures in Dallas in the teens next couple of nights behind this storm system. Then you have the Gulf moisture coming northward. Here's where we're going to have the ice dip in the jet stream. Will send not one, but 2 impulses across the Midwest. One Tuesday night into Wednesday, and then another one as we get into
we are preparing for it right now.
Wednesday night into Thursday. So that's why it's a large prolonged area of ice. Not a whole lot going on at the moment, but watch how this changes as we go through the rest of today. Here's the beginning of the precipitation around Chicago, Peoria, toward Kansas City. Mostly rain to start. And then watch this area blossom tonight in the Wednesday morning. There it is, Wednesday morning, Detroit, Chicago, Peoria, Kansas City, Wichita, toward the Denver area. That's going to be system number 1. Watch it move on through, and there's the snow with storm number 2 late Wednesday in the Wednesday afternoon across the Texas Panhandle. Storm number 1 ends. Here's storm number 2. Kansas City and Chicago, you're going to be on the northern edges of storm number 2. But once you get south of those areas, around Columbia, around St. Louis, around Peoria, that's where you get both rounds of storms, including Indianapolis, where you're going to get snow or ice that goes over the snow. Then everything heads toward the East Coast as we head into Thursday.
I did
Just
not,
a
Warlord.
large area of snow, and again, this is.
I don't know how you can have a record-breaking lightning flash.
Thursday across the central United States.
But you're going to hit me with the details, I would assume.
Friday morning in the eastern U.S. You'll notice that area where we have over a foot of snow. That's going to be roughly south of Kansas City from Columbia, Peoria, Springfield, northern parts of Indiana and Ohio. That will include South Bend toward Toledo, Ohio, toward Detroit, and into northern.
What's Nordberg doing in Detroit?
You're going to get several inches of snow. Now, once you get on the southern edges here, you'll notice that from Indy toward Oklahoma City, toward Lubbock, even toward Dallas, that's where you're going to get some ice with this as well. You can see that western extent of the snow across the southern plain states, including Wichita, including Kansas City, where we're looking at 6 to 10 inches of snow, a few inches of snow across the Texas Panhandle toward Oklahoma City. And remember, in Oklahoma City, you're going to start as ice. There's that heaviest snow, about 4 to 8 inches around Chicago, nearly a foot in Peoria, but from
now we're not going to see snow down here in the Gulf Coast. But apparently we're going to have tornado conditions. So if I'm not on tomorrow night, it is because I'm under a tornado warning, and me and the kiddies are in the bathroom. That happens from time to time here. This is what Warlord was referring to. Posted just a few hours ago on the BBC. Almost 500-mile long lightning bolt crossed 3 United States states. I assume WMO is the World Meteorological Organization. I might be wrong on the acronym. They are saying it has nothing to do with climate change, but we do know that climate change is producing more severe weather events. Transition into our next story. New metric shows how severe global warming is getting. Taking into account how increasing surface temperatures will alter both humidity and a measure of the energy contained in the atmosphere, a new study finds the world is at a growing risk of extreme weather events. That's what I said, World Meteorological Organization. Isn't that what I said? I was only guessing. I did not know. But I would assume that was the acronym. Taking into account how increasing surface temperatures will alter both humidity and a measure of the energy contained in the atmosphere, a new study finds the world is at a growing risk of extreme weather events, much like the historic snowstorm that is hitting the U.S. starting this evening. The study, published on Monday in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, focuses on an integrated temperature and humidity metric. China and the U.S. find shows that as global temperatures climb, humidity and atmospheric energy do so even faster. The boost in humidity and atmospheric energy, the study shows, are strongly correlated with trends in extreme heat and precipitation. Surface warming is causing a faster increase in humidity since warm air can hold more water vapor, and warming seas and land surfaces are giving up more water into the atmosphere through evaporation. while unchecked emissions might bring up to 4.8 degrees Celsius of surface warming by 2100, the study finds it could cause the integrated measure to climb up by 12 degrees Celsius by the year 2100 relative to pre-industrial era. Yield an increase of up to 60% in extreme precipitation, with a 40% increase in the energy to power tropical thunderstorms. Same time, heat extremes could become 14 to 30 times more frequent due to the combination of high heat and humidity. Most lethal combinations of ultra-high heat and humidity being seen now in parts of India, the Persian Gulf, North America, and Europe would get hotter and even more deadly, the study finds. It calls this increase debilitating, especially for vulnerable populations that lack access to air conditioning. That was one of the things that we found out with the heat wave through Europe, Canada, and the Northwest this past summer. Those homes don't have air conditioning built into them. Not used to seeing these types of temperatures. But hey, the warming has helped out the polar bears in the Arctic, I guess. Polar bears have moved into an abandoned Arctic weather station. This is a photo essay. Mainly just because I wanted to look at polar bears and also document the devastating effects of climate change. Good on them for making use of these abandoned weather stations, though. Look how adorable! Poor baby doesn't have any snow to play in, though. By the way, stick around for the end of the show. You're going to see a very floppy dog playing some snow. Oh. Yeah, it's wild that that nature produced something like a bear, which is that fucking cute, but also incredibly deadly. Yeah, I just wanted to look at some pictures of. There are only a few places on the planet where polar bears can be found in large numbers. One of them is Russia's Wrangel Island, a nature reserve under UNESCO protection. It's often called a polar bear maternity ward. This is very inaccessible, which may be bad for tourists, but it's great for the animals. So, they're making use of. Speaking of Russia, apparently we had some sparks fly. UN Security Council between the U.S. and Russia.
A UN Security Council meeting in New York Monday. America questioning Russia's intentions with more than 100,000 Russian troops surrounding Ukraine.
The situation we're facing in Europe is urgent and dangerous.
Not high enough for this shit.
And the stakes for Ukraine and for every UN member state could not be higher.
U.S. officials called for this public discussion in hopes of moving forward diplomatically.
You have heard from our Russian colleagues that we're calling for this meeting to make you all feel uncomfortable. Imagine how uncomfortable you would be if you had 100,000 troops sitting on your border in the way that these troops are sitting on the border with Ukraine. For us, this is about peace and security.
Russian officials have denied plans to invade, condemning the meeting, saying America is causing hysteria with its rhetoric.
You are almost calling for this. You want it to happen. You're waiting for it to happen.
Both things can be true.
To make your words become a reality.
A State Department spokesperson telling ABC Secretary Anthony Blinken will speak with Russia's foreign minister Tuesday morning. A critical first.
Now, apparently, I didn't get a chance to look at the story. Apparently, the U.S. has told diplomats to leave Belarus. That might not have anything to do with this situation, because Belarus has its own set of problems. Their president is rather crazy.
conversation since the U.S. responding in writing to Russia's demands.
Regardless of what people's public rhetoric is, it's our view that the door to diplomacy should always be open. And ultimately, the question here is about what President Putin is going to do. So we're always going to keep that door open.
The U.S. sending military aid to Ukraine, instructors training Ukrainian soldiers on missile launchers.
Ukraine will not bow to threats aimed at weakening Ukraine.
So it was more of the hysteria that the U.S. is spreading. Monday's order announced in a travel update on the department's website comes amid heightened tensions in Europe over a potential Russian invasion of Ukraine, which the U.S. cited as a primary factor for the advisory.
And the Kremlin must remember that Ukraine is ready to defend itself.
President Biden released a statement saying he is hopeful this can be solved through dialogue, but if Russia chooses to walk away from diplomacy and attack Ukraine, it will face swift and severe consequences.
Russia is indeed trying to extract concessions. Let's hear what those concessions are, because apparently Putin has said all of our demands have been completely ignored by the U.S. and NATO. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Tuesday that the U.S. and NATO had ignored Russia's main security demands in written responses transmitted to the Kremlin last week. The comments mark the first time Putin has publicly discussed the crisis stemming from Russia's military buildup near Ukraine since December 23rd, before a flurry of diplomacy with the West over Moscow's demands for a freeze on NATO expansion. It's already clear that Russia's fundamental concerns have been ignored. NATO refers to the right of countries to choose freely, but you cannot strengthen someone's security at the expense of others, Putin said at a press conference with Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban, according to an interpreter. Which, by the way, this was last year on the show. I wondered, does Putin speak English? He does. Speaks English fluently, but you will never find video of him speaking English. He only speaks Russian. Apparently he speaks multiple languages. Only speaks Russian publicly, but speaks English so well that he will correct his interpreters. That fact blew my mind. He will correct his own interpreters. But he sees it as a sign of weakness to speak anybody else's language. That's why he will only be filmed speaking Russian. Because there was a clip of him telling a joke to Obama. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's not speaking through an interpreter. Yeah, speaks fluent English. What big dick energy. We haven't seen adequate consideration of our three key requirements concerning the prevention of NATO expansion, the refusal to deploy strike weapon systems near the Russian borders, as well as the return of the military infrastructure to NATO's 1997 borders. Orban, the right-wing leader of an EU and NATO country with close ties to Russia, said he was in Moscow for a peacemaking visit. He told Putin there is no single leader who would like to see a conflict with the Russian Federation breaking out. NATO has long said it is a defensive alliance and that all sovereign countries have the right to make their own foreign policy choices. Russia is seeking a ban on Ukraine joining NATO, despite the fact that there is no indication the alliance will accept Ukraine as a member anytime soon. The U.S. and NATO have repeatedly said that it is Russia's aggression, including the 2008 invasion of Georgia and the 2014 invasion of Ukraine, that has prompted the alliance to increase its presence in Eastern Europe. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken spoke with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov earlier on Tuesday about the U.S. and NATO's written responses to Moscow's demands, which opened the door to cooperation on arms control but ruled out any limitations on NATO membership. And I wonder how much of this is actually trying to make NATO relevant again. Because, after the Cold War and the facilitation of the EU, what exactly is NATO's purpose? Oh, good for NATO, good for the defense contractors in the U.S., Apparently, the GOP is upset about Tucker Carlson and his stance on Ukraine. This is a piece from Politico. GOP is telling Tucker, we're the decision makers on Ukraine, not you. Senator John Cornyn said he's obviously not in a position of being responsible for those decisions. Republican senators are unmoved by Tucker Carlson's relentless warpath against support for Ukraine, even as it widens an existing rift in their party. The Fox News primetime host and others on the far right have excused and even rationalized Russia's aggression toward Ukraine and downplayed its relevance to U.S. national security. While GOP senators are shrugging off his name and shame campaign, Carlson's views are permeating the GOP base in a way that could undermine Republicans' efforts to emphasize cross-party unity as they seek to deter a Russian invasion of Ukraine. On individuals up in here, who are decision makers, I don't hear any disagreement about the position Russia is in. This is according to Senator Mike Rounds, a Republican of South Dakota. He did not include is that DMX? He did not include the DMX lyrics in his statement. That was me. The rest of it was his quote. Rounds is a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Russia is the aggressor. Ukraine has every right, as a sovereign nation, to have their borders respected. Russia is not doing that. Connect between the GOP foreign policy establishment and the pro-Donald Trump base of the party on the value of intervening in foreign quagmires isn't new, but the crisis in Ukraine is exposing the widening gulf between the two camps when it comes to committing U.S. resources in support of fledgling democracies under siege by authoritarian regimes. I just don't trust the U.S. when it comes to supporting democracies. Saying that I know anything about the Ukraine, or saying that they aren't a democracy. But like, we got a bad track record of interfering in foreign affairs, so we should just stop that. Recent days. And also, here's the thing, is apparently Russia usually goes on this propaganda campaign like they did before they invaded Georgia and before they invaded Crimea. They've not been doing that this time. So they're not preparing their own citizenry for the possibility of war. So it doesn't seem like an invasion is imminent. It really does feel like the U.S. is poking the bear. And I'm not here for it. I mean, we just got out of Afghanistan. I was praising Biden taking on the chin in the public relations department when it came to the pullout of Afghanistan. But now, like, he isn't doing anything to rein in the war hawks now. Recent days, Carlson has attacked Republicans who are pushing for a stronger response to Moscow's aggression, slamming Senator Joni Ernst as ignorant. Senator Jim Risch as a moron masquerading as a senator. I mean, hey, maybe Tucker's been watching the Troll Patrol and he knows that right-wingers are morons. Also calling him a pompous neocon buffoon. If I knew it was going to be this juicy, I would have found the clip. I'm so sorry. Simply for advocating long-standing GOP orthodoxy when it comes to Russia. Carlson has even defended Moscow's buildup of troops along the border with Ukraine and President Vladimir Putin's rationale for it, in a stark departure from the tough-on-Russia posture that has defined the Republican Party since the start of the Cold War. Meanwhile, Ukraine remains under active threat from an invasion that some are warning could be just the first domino to fall in Eastern Europe. If the neocon shoe fits. Senator Marco Rubio said, I don't agree with those views. Nobody to root for, as producer Dave likes to say in this one. Tucker Carlson is just sucking authoritarian dick You know he likes Viktor Orban. You know he likes Vladimir Putin. Exactly. NATO was like that. It's always the domino theory. That was the justification for the Cold War. GOP senators rolled their eyes when asked about Carlson's attacks and indicated that the far-right Fox host isn't impacting their calculus on the emerging legislative path, even as his views are picking up steam among the base. I don't know. Maybe I'm rooting Tucker on with this because perhaps him riling up the dumb fucks on the right, it will slow down the march towards war, because my position is we have no business in any of this. Fuck. As if there weren't enough right-wing political talk show hosts, the National Republican Senatorial Committee is launching a podcast called The Red Zone. See a picture of Senator Rick Scott, the NRSC Red Zone podcast. Senate Republicans' campaign and fundraising arm is launching a new podcast with Donald Trump as its debut guest and donor lore. How crucial the GOP considers Trump to its chances of taking back the majority. There's something in it for Trump as well. Being interviewed by Senator Rick Scott of Florida, the chairman of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, gives him institutional validation at a time of political and legal scrutiny. Guest spot also shows how Republicans still see his brand as a net positive despite sagging poll numbers, legal investigations, and blowback from a weekend speech in which he mused about pardoning the January 6th insurrectionists. Apparently, Mitch McConnell had something to say about. Well, here's the turtle.
How concerned are you about the former president offering pardons to people who attacked the Capitol on January 6th? And because of his comments, does he have the moral authority to be president again?
Well, I can speak for myself. The election of 2020 was decided December the 14th of 2020 when the Electoral College certified the winner of the election.
It was decided like a week after when all the votes were counted.
Was an effort to prevent the peaceful transfer of power from one administration to another, which had never happened before in our country. 165 people have pleaded guilty to criminal behavior. None of the trials have been finished yet, but 165 have pleaded guilty to criminal behavior. My view is I would not be in favor of shortening any of the sentences for any of the people.
Well, good on Mitch,
who pleaded guilty to crimes.
This is good for us. Let's continue to expose the rift in the Republican Party, because that's going to send Trump on the offensive. You know it. Now, I have a feeling that one of the reasons why Mitch McConnell, a very shrewd politician, might have said something like that is because Trump-backed candidates front a cash wave. Some of Donald Trump's hand-picked candidates are hitting an obstacle in their effort. I think I introduced this wrong. I think I said they weren't getting money. Apparently, they're awash in money. Some of Donald Trump's hand-picked candidates are hitting an obstacle in their efforts to purge the Republican Party of Trump skeptics. Money! Lots of it. Key Trump-backed Republican challengers were heavily outraised by the Republican primary opponents late last year, newly filed financial reports show. The money advantage has the potential to play a decisive role in closely watched House and Senate primary contests this midterm year. And the lack of it can spell... Oh, maybe I was... Okay. Trump-backed Republican challengers were outraised. The Trump candidates were outraised. So it's that was my original assessment of this article. I'm very confused here. Not high enough for this shit. Money advantage, and this is why we're seeing McConnell go on the attack. But then that's interesting with Rick Scott having Trump on the launch of their podcast. But then again, what fucking Republican could they have on that's going to generate more headlines than Trump? Lack of money can spell trouble for a number of candidates Trump has endorsed out of a personal affinity or simply a hatred of the more moderate Republicans they're looking to unseat. The trend was most evident in Wyoming. The incumbent, Representative Liz Cheney, more than quadrupled the fourth quarter fundraising haul of her top primary opponent, fellow Republican Harriet Hagman. Cheney's $2 million haul, her best ever fundraising quarter, came as she spearheaded efforts to investigate Trump's role in the January 6th Capitol attack, triggering the ex-president's fury. Hagman reported raising $443,000. Wow. I don't think Cheney's going to win. But apparently she's got the money advantage. And money goes a hell of a long way. Other Republicans who, like Cheney, voted to impeach Trump early last year also outraised Trump-backed challengers. Senator Lisa Murkowski brought in nearly $1.4 million in the fourth quarter. Her Trump-backed challenger, Kelly Shabaka, raised just over $600,000. Wageinator, welcome. Thank you for being a freaking follower. What you said was fucking stupid. Here on this program, we are very much for an open source IP for all pharmaceutical products, but especially for vaccines. So if you're trying to make the argument that we are shills for pharmaceutical companies, you're in the wrong place. But hey. It's not like right-wingers aren't morons. Thank you for stopping by, though. Representative Fred Upton raised about $726,000, more than 5 times that of the $135,000 taken in by his primary rival, Steve Carra. Representative Jamie Hara Butler, Republican of Washington, raised $525,000, about $200,000 more than her challenger, Joe Kent. Bro, I'm on your side. The politician and pharma corps just want to help us. You're not on our side. I don't think there should be pharmaceutical corporations. I don't think they should exist. So how are you on my side? Not Brave Soda, welcome. Thank you for being a freaking follower. John Gibbs, who's challenging Representative Peter Meijer. I'm also following another candidate who's challenging Peter Meijer. I fucking troll him all the time. John Gibbs only entered the race in early November, yet the $51,000 he raised during the last 2 months of the year was well below the pace of Meijer's $530,000. What's adorable is the fact that you think you're making a cogent argument. For those of you listening to the podcast, Wageinator over here says, quote, thanks for the miracle vax that should be mandatory, but you shouldn't exist, end quote, LOL. Adorable.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes. I think you guys are very stupid. Bruh. What's up, bruh? Am I high enough for this shit? Can you define communism, Waginator? Always like I get called a commie by people that I'm far more capitalistic. If you have a boss and you have to go and clock in at a certain time, you ain't a capitalist. I work for myself over here. I run my own small business. I just had to do my small business taxes yesterday. I am far more of a capitalist than all the idiots that come into my chat and call me a commie. That's the thing that just blows my fucking mind. Fuck yeah, somebody hit the rips. I've got news for you. I don't advocate for the state control of everything. If you're going to argue with somebody, why don't you actually figure out what I stand for? Hell, my chat is far more to the left than I am. They take me to task quite often. But here's the thing that I get upset with you guys. I can define capitalism. I can define communism. I can define socialism. I don't use the terms interchangeably, and I don't use them interchangeably with fascism or authoritarianism or totalitarianism. I actually know what I'm talking about. Unlike right-wingers who are morons. If you think I'm a pharma bootlicker, then you're a moron. If you think I said Orange Man bad, you're a moron. And I can't help you. I can't debate something I never said with somebody who's not informed, so... Fucking shit.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes. Now, I wish you people could learn to feel embarrassment. But then again, you probably would never show your face anywhere. You're hiding behind like an anime avatar or some shit. Hey, you good, dude? Seems like you're having a stroke or something. You need us to call medical help for you? Only got so much time. Oh, let's move on to the Supreme Court. We got a video from Politico here that's going to sum up the battle in about 180 seconds. There's different clips of political figures.
The irony is that the Supreme Court is at the very same time
Republican Roger Wicker
about this sort of affirmative racial discrimination.
Yes.
And while adding someone who is the beneficiary of this sort of quote, the majority of the court may be saying writ large, it's unconstitutional. We'll see how that irony works out.
Put me in the camp of making sure the court and other institutions look like America. You know, we make a real effort as Republicans.
I'd say a lot of people would like to put Lindsey Graham in a camp.
Party look more like America. Affirmative action is picking somebody not as well qualified for past wrongs. Michelle.
No, it's not. I agree with the principles of affirmative action, but I'm going to stand up here and misrepresent what affirmative action is. And even though what I'm accusing Joe Biden of doing is nowhere near affirmative action, That word is scary to my stupid ass followers. People like Wagenator in the chat, they just hear affirmative action. It makes them go mad because we've lied to them about what it is.
Childs is incredibly qualified. There's no affirmative action component if you pick her. Whether you like it or not, Joe Biden said, I'm going to pick an African-American woman to serve on...
There is a candidate. Apparently, she has been very corporatist. She is a black woman. She's been incredibly corporatist and a hardcore union buster, and that she didn't go to an Ivy League school. As we're starting to see they put like, oh, well, you should pick her because she didn't go to an Ivy League school, but yet she's been on the side of corporations. So they're going to use that as a talking point. Play the identity politics. They want somebody that's going to back their corporatist agenda.
On the Supreme Court. I believe there are plenty of qualified African-American women, conservative and liberal, that could go onto the court.
I would welcome the appointment of a black female to the court. I believe that diversity benefits the Supreme Court, but the way that the president has handled this nomination...
Now, I hope she hasn't had a medical condition. Like, I wouldn't want to mock her for something that can't help, like she had a stroke or something, but she needs to retire. Lindsey Graham, get the fuck out of there. Go, you old people, go enjoy your fucking lives. Mitch McConnell, get the fuck out of there. Dianne Feinstein, Nancy Pelosi, fuck all the way off, all of you. Chucky Schumer, time to go. Dick Durbin, get the fuck out. Patrick Leahy, fucking leave. Patrick Levy, get the fuck out.
Nation has been clumsy at best. It adds to the further perception that the court is a political institution like Congress when it is not supposed to be.
President Reagan did that as well.
President Reagan said one of his Supreme Court justices.
President Reagan armed fucking radical Muslim terrorists in order to fund death squads in South America and flood the streets of the United States with crack. It sounds like a crazy-ass conspiracy theory, but it's 100% true. Reagan was a gigantic piece of shit. Virtually everything wrong with this country now, I can point to Ronald Reagan. Not saying that we were doing well before Ronald Reagan, but he accelerated all of the bullshit.
Justices would be a woman. You're skipping over what he exactly said.
Number 10.
He's willing to make a promise at the outset that it must be.
What's up, homie?
I gotta say that's offensive. Right. You know, black women are what, 6% of the U.S. population. He's saying to 94%.
Well, it absolutely made it worse.
You are.
But I can show you charts where like this one I've got right here handy. This is worker productivity compared with hourly compensation. This is when wages went flat. Boom, right here with Reagan. This is the Reagan Revolution. That's union busting, deregulation, tax cuts for the rich. Bill Clinton absolutely continued those policies. We've talked about the third way Democrats that are conservative. So I've got a troll that mocks me for saying that Biden is a right winger, but he absolutely is. He is one of those third way Democrats. I don't know. I don't understand how you would separate America, because at this point in time, the divide isn't like North and South. The divide is urban and rural. So I don't know how you could people like to act like my state of Alabama, the reddest state in the country. We would be far more, we'd have more Democratic representatives if the cities, Huntsville, Montgomery, Birmingham, weren't cracked and packed through gerrymandering. The state house wasn't gerrymandered. The state would look a lot more representative of the people. But it's just been fucking conservatives rigging everything in their favor. Ted Cruz wanted to focus on racism. It's fucking racism. He wanted to pick a black woman for the Supreme Court.
Skipping over what he exactly said.
The fact that he's willing to make a promise at the outset that it must be a black woman, I got to say that's offensive.
Right.
You know, black
Why?
women are what, 6% of the U.S. population? He's saying to 94% of Americans, I don't give a damn about you. You are ineligible. And he's also saying it's actually an
No. Specifically black women making up 6%, but like women make up what, 51%, 52% of the population? Black people make up about 13 or 14% of the population. So the idea that there should be a black woman, one of the 9 justices, is not an outlandish proposition. In order to make the court more representative of the people, which I'm always for. I'm for democracy.
insult to black women. If he came and said, I'm going to put the best jurist on the court, and he looked at a number of people and he ended up nominating a black woman, he could credibly say, okay, I'm nominating the person who's most qualified. He's not even pretending to say that. He's saying, if you're a white guy, tough luck.
Yes, yes, yes. Because as we pointed out, there is systemic racism that permeates all of our institutions. Don't make me get the list and fucking read it off like I did the other night. In order to correct that, you need to have a perspective of someone, black woman would be fantastic, to help correct that historical injustice. And there are plenty of them that are just as qualified as anybody else. They leave that part out. They want to act like there are no black women who would be qualified to be on the court. There are plenty of black women that are just as qualified as anybody else. So you should prioritize picking one.
Casually racist. But when Biden starts out by saying he has a quota system, he diminishes the achievements of those African American women.
The more our judges reflect our nation's vibrancy and rich diversity, the more effectively they will be able to administer equal justice. I intend to have the Senate move quickly so we can fulfill our constitutional duty to advise and consent and ultimately confirm the president's pick.
The president makes a nomination. That's his privilege. And I won't have any comment until I see...
Chuck Grassley, get the fuck out. We don't need any of you old farts anymore. Get the fuck out. Let's talk about some of the discrimination here on the first day of Black History Month. Over a dozen historically black colleges and universities got a bomb threat. Had to close campus or cancel classes on Monday. I'm sorry, on Tuesday, due to bomb threats on the first day of Black History Month. It was the second day this week and the third in the last month that several HBCUs received such threats. By Tuesday afternoon, the majority of the schools had been cleared and no bombs had been found. The FBI said it was aware of the threats and was working with local law enforcement. It was at Howard University, Alcorn State University, Coppin State University, Edward Waters University, Fort Valley State University, the University of the District of Columbia, Morgan State University, Kentucky State University, Xavier University of Louisiana, Philander Smith College, Arkansas Baptist College, Mississippi's Valley State University, and Jackson State University. We take these threats incredibly seriously. Our Homeland Security Advisor is in close touch with law enforcement authorities at a federal and local level. We are assessing what we think the origin, the reasoning, the motivation behind it. According to Press Secretary Jen Psaki, We just reiterate that we condemn these disturbing threats, and our thoughts are with the students, faculty, and staff at these historic institutions. And Val Demings of Florida, former police chief, wrote Tuesday on Twitter that the threats demand a response. As a former law enforcement officer, I'll keep working to make sure our institutions and law enforcement have the resources they need to keep all of our students and communities safe. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer on Monday, another motherfucker that needs to retire, fuck you, Steny Hoyer, called for a complete and thorough investigation. The terror the terror the threats have caused raises serious questions. Axios had to interpret what he was trying to say. Fucking old fart. The terror the threats have caused raises serious questions about the existence of hate-based violence across our nation and in our communities. Oh, they have absolutely been accusing the Democrats of being the real racists. Fucking Ted Cruz accused Democrats of being racist. That clip. What in the... I'm trying to read your name. They're live. I give up. The certain Maine Rue. Fuck yeah, thank you for being a freaking follower. I'm sorry I fucked your name up. It's a clunker. They're live, the certain man in Rue. NRU. I fucking... I just want to talk about some football. The other night I was asking, is the Super Bowl this week? Oh, like Thursday. It's like, is the Super Bowl this weekend? I don't fucking know. No, the Super Bowl's like weeks from now. Like they still had ball games to play. I thought the Sporty Ball was over for the season. I was wrong. It's the Cincinnati Bengals and somebody else in the Super Bowl? I mean, I'm going to watch it. I already subscribed to the Peacock so I could watch it this year because, like, every year I watch it over the antenna and it sounds like shit because I don't watch football for the football. I'm watching the Super Bowl for the halftime show. I'm a live music fanatic. So I'm going to be watching the halftime show. And I got the Peacock so it could actually sound good instead of, the over-the-air antenna, which doesn't sound good. Isn't in 5.1 like it's going to be for me this year. Fuck yeah. Rams, it's the Rams against the Bengals. I hadn't heard anything about the Rams this year. I didn't even know they were a good team. Because, like, I got friends that like sports. Like, especially one of my closest... The friend that Sparkles refers to as Puzzle Bitch. Loves sports. He usually keeps me abreast of what's going on. I don't know. Let's talk about sports, though. Apparently, the Winter Olympics are getting ready to start. I think I saw that as well. They ain't got a fucking musical act. They ain't bringing out Dr. Dre and Kendrick Lamar and fucking Snoop Dogg, so I ain't gonna... I wouldn't know. I watched football when I was a kid, but like every season, especially as like it became more corporate and trades became more frequent and everything, like every season you had to learn where everybody went. I'm like, this is just too much fucking work. I've got so much other shit I could be doing. I could be reading something, I could be watching a movie, and so I gave up sports. Same thing with, I used to love fucking NASCAR. I've been to 7 NASCAR races. But like The drama you get, like, in football, like, there is nothing like watching a good football game. There's nothing like watching a good UFC fight. There's nothing like watching a good race. But the bullshit you have to sit through to get to the good shit is just unbearable, so I can't do it anymore. It's hard sitting through a 4 or 5 hour race to get to the end, then the last, fucking 20 minutes are good. That's around the same time I quit paying attention. I was a Denver Broncos fan when I was in school. It was about 8th grade, freshman year of college, something like that. I'm just like, I'm not freshman, 8th grade, freshman year of high school. I was just like, I can't do it anymore. Not for me. Yeah, fuck the sports ball. I mean, nothing against anybody who gets into it. As I said, I understand. The good shit is amazing. I watched, what was that fucking basketball game a few years ago? It had Golden State. I was working at an ABC TV station, and they had, I don't even remember if it was the finals or it was a playoff game. But, it was a fantastic basketball game, and we're sitting there in the studio because our newscast is being delayed by this game, but I'm sitting on the edge of my chair watching the game was fantastic. So, I understand, but, those moments are so few and far in between. They play, 170-something games in MLB. There's 80 or 90 games in the NBA. That's too fucking much. At least with football, there's only what? Each team plays 12 or 13 games up until they get to the postseason. That's far more manageable. And then, don't even get me started about the fucking stadiums and the waste of money that they are. Fuck. Yeah, football is the longest game, but it's also the most interesting. It's also the most damaging. The ones that cause more brain injury are the more interesting sports. At least to me. I rank UFC, football, basketball, NASCAR, baseball. NBA is typically an 82-game season. Hey, buddy. What's up, Thread? Fucking Michael Jordan was awesome to watch. I mean, it was just entertaining. Not that, Steph Curry isn't fun to watch now. Or LeBron fun to watch now. Have I seen bare knuckle brawlers? I've watched bum fights. Is that the one with the hot tubs and everything, SoFi Stadium? I think I have. I think fucking WWE's done an event there or some shit. That's where Kimbo Slice came from bare knuckle boxing, didn't he? Was it brand new? I don't keep up with any of this shit, but stadiums are just outrageous. Kimbo went to MMA, but he came out of bare knuckle fight. He was doing YouTube video. Oh yeah, he did die, didn't he? Sometimes we get way off topic here on the Troll Patrol with that. Talking about serious topics like racism, and then we're gonna make fun of Whoopi Goldberg and her. I don't know what she said. For those of you who are new to the stream, I never know about these stories. I never watched the video beforehand. So you get my honest reaction to things. All I know is Whoopi Goldberg said something about the Holocaust didn't have anything to do with racism. Or wasn't entirely about racism, or I don't know how she said it. So I don't know if we're going to make fun of her or mock her. she has apologized. She had on the CEO of the ADL. See, the Holocaust, saying the Holocaust wasn't about race is technically true. Race played a huge role in I mean, as we know, it's about purging out groups. First they came for the socialists, and I said nothing because I wasn't a socialist. But racism played, it's like my professor, U.S. history up until 1867, I think that was the delineation. The U.S. history was divided into two halves. You only had to take one. I took both because, that's just the way I am. But, he came into class, he was bald, and he was rubbing his bald head, and he's like, was the Civil War about slavery? Yes. Also, no. The things that it wasn't about that weren't about slavery had slavery intertwined all through it. So it's one of those where, oversimplifications are bad. I don't know how Whoopi said it. I know the right-wing outrage has ran with it. But she had on the CEO of the ADL. But states' rights to do what? The South went to court to try to enforce northern states to return their slaves. So, they didn't really believe in states' rights. It's a complicated thing. Yeah, I didn't know where she actually said the shit. I didn't know which clip to pull, but I think she said it on The View yesterday, and then we have the clip from today. Well, let's get to that. The NFL has been sued for racial discrimination by former Dolphins coach Brian Flores. Brian Flores, who was fired last month as head coach of the Miami Dolphins, has sued the National Football League and each of its franchises for racial discrimination. The NFL for decades has been criticized for its I have not ever heard this word pronounced. Let's find it.
Paucity.
Paucity. The presence of something only in small or insufficient quantities or amounts.
Paucity.
Paucity. The NFL for decades has been criticized for its paucity of black coaches. Now Flores plans to hold the league's feet to the legal fire. Mr. Flores has determined that the only way to effectuate real change is through the courts, where the NFL's conduct can be judged by a jury of Mr. Flores' peers, a judgment that is long overdue. That was what was written in the lawsuit. The suit is filed as a proposed class action. Flores claims that he was informed by New England's Patriots coach Bill Belichick that the New York Giants head coaching job had gone to someone else 3 days before Flores was scheduled to interview for the position. He calls the Giants' interview process a sham through which he was humiliated. Flores also alleges that before getting the Dolphins job, he interviewed with the Denver Broncos, a meeting for which then general manager John Elway was an hour late and appeared to be hungover. Or like Billy Cheat. The main thing I know about him is from, the South Park episode where Cartman dresses up as the Hispanic teacher. Like, you cheat! The New England Patriots, you cheat! Speaking of which, woke up this morning and saw a news story. I don't know when they announced it, but new season of South Park starts tomorrow, and Justin is very happy about that. Fuck yeah. I've been like, where's my South Park? Where's my South Park? Specials are cool and all, but we ain't had a season in 2 years. Let me. All right, right, let's hear what Whoopi Goldberg had to say about the fucking Holocaust.
Also, if you're going to do that.
And I guess this was brought on by the discussion of mouse being banned in the Tennessee school district. We covered that last week on Holocaust Remembrance Day, and that's what caused me to watch Schindler's List over the weekend. Like the first 2 hours, I was like, this is capitalist propaganda. Fuck off. And like he started doing some industrial sabotage. I'm like, all right, I'm down with this. You're doing some industrial sabotage and you're spending your money on saving Jewish people instead of saving Jewish people to make money. And I'm totally behind you, Oscar Schindler, and Liam Neeson was a badass.
Well, also, if you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
Ethnicity.
No,
it's about
a
different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy. It's about
but
going
it's
after
not. It's
Jews
not about
and
race.
gypsies and
But these are two
Romans.
white groups of people.
Well, that was after black people too.
The Germans didn't consider the Jewish people white. And it was like, I guess I get what she's trying to say, because once again, they persecuted trans people. They persecuted gay people. They attacked gender science. Gypsies, as they called them. So, race is integral to the Holocaust. Just saying the Holocaust was about one thing is just a gross oversimplification. And this is one of the things that sucks about, they're having to do a 10-minute segment tops before the next commercial break. And this is far more of a in-depth discussion than what you can have on national television, on commercial television. Well, that was the way that the Nazis referred to them. The core of the Nazis' motivations weren't about. They were about racial purity, but it's also a power thing. The way you gain power is by creating outgroups, usually based on race, to persecute. But there's more to it. A lot of others to point fingers at. Yeah, the primary focus was definitely ethnic Jews.
As white
but you're missing the point. You're missing the point. The minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other. It's a problem. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, because black, white, Jews, everybody eats each other. So if you're uncomfortable, if you hear about mouse, should you be worried? Should your child say, "Oh my God, I wonder if that's me"? No, that's not what they're gonna say.
Yeah, there you hear the music playing.
Hopefully, I want to be cool.
Yeah,
and
most kids, they don't want to be cruel.
No, they don't.
This isn't a subject you can talk about on commercial television.
The yellow stars, where people are comparing vaccinations to what Anne Frank went through. Yeah. So it is necessary for kids to learn about the Holocaust.
Learn about man's inhumanity to man, however it exposes itself. I have to cut you off.
I just want to say that now.
Yeah, you have to cut people off. The music is stifling a serious conversation. Everybody's having to wrap up, and you're trying to get a more complex point across than what you can in the short amount of time that you have.
It was banned, and it flew to top 20 of Amazon's rules last week. Charts.
Yes.
People, the more you ban it, the more we want to read it.
Was she insensitive? Perhaps. Was she anti-Semitic? No. Now this is from stopantisemitism.org. Let's hear how the right wing twisted this. From known racial expert Steven Crowder.
We always wonder, why? Hold on a second. Why do they say this is racist on the left? And what? Oh, they have no idea what racism actually is, as seen by Whoopi Goldberg yesterday saying that the Holocaust, let me just be clear, the Holocaust was not, in fact, about race. No, I know you think this is real clear.
A Tennessee school pulled the graphic novel Mouse out of their lessons on the Holocaust because it contained...
And she's trying to make the argument that it's more nuanced, but she didn't make that argument well.
Because, you know, given the story of Mouse, I'm surprised that...
Oh, Steven Crowder knows about racism.
Comfortable the fact that there was some nudity and I mean it's
idiotic
it's
statement.
about the Holocaust, the killing of 6 million people, but that didn't bother you. But the naked
I'm not sure that they don't use the naked part as a kind of a canard to throw you off from the fact that they don't like history that makes white people look bad.
Well, this is white people doing it to white people.
Yeah.
So this is, you know, y'all go fight amongst yourselves, but don't, you know, the Holocaust isn't about race. No.
Yeah, the 6 million is just the Jewish people
It's about
a different race.
But it's not about
that
race.
were murdered.
It's not about
What
race.
is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
So, first of all, no, let me just jump in here. They're mice. It's not about naked people at all.
No.
Just she didn't read it.
Well, I don't know if
It's a
you heard the
graphic
rest of it. She
novel.
didn't know what was going on. I mean, this is what happens when you just put 5 hot flashes at a table.
Yes, Ida, fantastic take.
Morning TV. So let me get this clear, and I'll get to it. I don't disagree with her.
And Crowder's like, I don't disagree with her, but that's the problem. She was trying to bring nuance. You can't do that in 10 minutes. It's too complex of a topic. And that's fuck the commercial television. But now I'm wondering what the fuck Steven Crowder's like, oh, I agree with her. What? Oh, as if anybody takes Steven Crowder seriously.
Morning TV. So let me get this clear, and I'll get to it. I don't disagree with her. I wouldn't have disagreed with her point entirely. I'm giving her some grace here.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
she would have explained it properly, which she didn't. Right. But more importantly,
she certainly didn't. No.
The Holocaust. You know, all about the Aryan, supremacy.
Right.
That's where we get white supremacy effectively from when we're discussing it today. So that's not about race. But Whoopi, all of these other things, we have a montage coming up, were?
I hate to ask this question, but you have aligned yourself with the man who has bashed women.
She wasn't saying that race wasn't an aspect of the Holocaust. And they're leaving that part out. And she probably was insensitive to that aspect.
Show them.
You're Ben Carson. Why would you align yourself with
Forgot
that?
my name for
Like
a
I'm
second.
going to explain to Bill Barr now, who says there is no systemic racism. Eric Gardner, George Floyd couldn't breathe. Breonna Taylor, police didn't knock. Philando Castile, he told them, I have a gun. Tamir Rice was 12. Now, if you can't look at that and say, hey, we have an issue and we got to sit down and talk about it.
And the problem I have is the only way to become a good Republican is to become a Democrat, according to the media. And I don't know what to do anymore because I can't keep coming on TV every day saying that we're all Nazis and you know, Hitler salutes and whatever. It's just not intellectually honest.
Well, I have to say, let me just say something for poops and giggles. The Republicans have brought this on themselves. They've brought this...
They're fascist as fuck.
...on themselves. You shouldn't talk about, you know, racism. Well, you should, because we've seen it for 4 years, directed at various people.
So here's the thing. Let me make sure that I understand this. Donald Trump... Republicans, Ben Carson, these are all, I just want to make sure that I understand. Someone who votes Republican, someone who votes for Donald Trump, someone who is in the cabinet of Donald Trump who happens to be a black man. These are all examples of racism. These are examples of problems that are all predicated on race. But the actual movement that took place in Germany, which resulted in the, in their mind, necessary eradication of an entire race of people predicated on the idea of one and only one superior Aryan race is not, I understand now. You don't know what racism is. Whoopi did issue an apology this morning. I want to make it clear. She said, on today's show, I said the Holocaust is not about race, but about man's inhumanity to man. I stand corrected. She sits corrected.
Yeah.
I stand on my walker with the tennis
always.
balls corrected. The Jewish people around the world have always had my support, and that will never waver. Well, I think
I
it just
was
did.
sitting in my shower chair corrected.
Yes.
How my feet hurt.
Life alert. Hover around. It's great, child.
Give me an example of you supporting the Jewish people around the world, Whoopi. I would like to know what that means.
Yeah, did you support moving the embassy back to Jerusalem? That's crazy.
What are you, like,
If you
donating?
give me a frozen hot pocket,
What?
under my titty, it gonna be warm.
Jeez. A Whoopi oven. It's not like a...
What will I do for a Klondike? Anything. I will literally do anything. Even whitewash the Holocaust, okay? You don't know me. You don't know how far I will go for a Klondike.
You don't know where I've been?
All right.
The dude is wearing a shirt that says capitalist. But Steven Crowder's dad signs his checks. You're not a capitalist, dude. If somebody else is signing your checks, you're not a capitalist. You work for a capitalist. That was super cringe. Well, like, I can't defend Whoopi because, like, I mean, I critiqued her properly. I get what she was trying to say, but, like, that she botched it. But maybe she did better when she had the CEO of the ADL, the American Defamation League, on this morning. Spoke with them. So this is Jonathan Greenblatt on with Whoopi on The View. So props on Whoopi for doing the due diligence.
About race?
Well, Whoopi, there's no question that the Holocaust was about race. That's how the Nazis saw it as they perpetrated the systematic annihilation of the Jewish people across continents, across countries, with deliberate and ruthless cruelty. And literally, the first page of Maus, the book you were talking about yesterday, Whoopi, it opens with a quote from Hitler. And literally it says, the Jews undoubtedly are a race, but they are not human. You see, Hitler's ideology, the Third Reich, was predicated on the idea that the Aryans, the Germans, were a, quote, master race, and the Jews were a subhuman race. It was a racialized anti-Semitism. Okay. Now, that might not fit exactly or feel different than the way we think about race in 21st century America, where primarily it's about people of color. But throughout the Jewish people's history, they have been marginalized, they have been persecuted, they have been slaughtered in large part because many people felt they were not just a different religion, but indeed a different race. And your platform,
white supremacists here in the U.S. do not consider them white.
To educate people to realize that anti-Semitism remains a clear and present danger.
Yes.
I mean, it's a real issue, and we've got to confront it. And the racism at the core. I mean, keep this in mind, that the Nazis implemented.
Yes, Dip brings up a very good point. If you ever see the 3 parentheses around a word like globalists, it's code word for the Jews.
Their Nuremberg laws, right, which dehumanized the Jewish people. My grandfather, my ancestors lived with this in Germany. And in many ways, the Jim Crow South used some of the same standards against black people that were used against Jews, except the Jews were ultimately put into cattle cars and in.
Hitler said he modeled the Weimar Republic after the Nazi movement after the American South. Keith's dad said something fucking stupid, dude. Are you stupid? Nazis persecuted socialists is what we talked about before you came in here. The first line of the poem is, "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak up. I was not a socialist." Yeah, that's why I had to correct myself, Dip. Keith's dad tried to argue that Whoopi is saying that the Nazis were socialists and they couldn't be racist. What the fuck? It doesn't understand what moving the goalposts is. That was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Right-wingers are morons. And do you think North Korea is the Democratic Republic of North Korea? Fascist movements co-opt popular movements and use their language. Literally, the first line of the poem is, "First they came for the socialists." I wish right-wingers could feel embarrassment. Like, you people are stupid. I don't understand why you continually talk about things you know nothing about. Learn your limits. I don't think that's too much to ask. That was all I was asking of Joe Rogan, who is not like Whoopi Goldberg, won't have CEO of the ADL after they said something boneheaded. Joe Rogan will double down on his boneheaded takes. Rogan shares incorrect coronavirus story just 24 hours after apology. So we watched the apology video last night. About 24 hours after apologizing and promising to have all the pertinent facts at hand when discussing the coronavirus pandemic, Spotify podcaster Joe Rogan tweeted and then deleted an incorrect story about the drug ivermectin. The medication has become a cause in right-wing media circles, and Rogan, one of its biggest backers, tweeted, "Well, looky here!" along with a story claiming the drug was effective against Omicron in a phase 3 clinical trial. That turned out to be incorrect, and the story was updated. It was not a clinical trial. He deleted it. He didn't issue a correction. I will give Whoopi Goldberg props for having the ADL on to educate her. So what should Joe Rogan do? He should have Hotep or Osterholm. The virologist he mentioned in his video to give himself credibility yesterday, but he hasn't had them on since the beginning of the pandemic. Have Osterholm on again. Do it. Do it, Joe Rogan. The only people you've had on is the quacks now. This was the tweet. Once again, he just deleted it. He didn't say I was wrong. He didn't own up to it. Reuters issued their correction. Corrects headline and first paragraph to remove reference to the drug being effective in treating against Omicron in phase 3 clinical trials. Japanese trading and pharmaceutical company, Kawa Company Limited, said on Monday anti-parasite drug ivermectin showed an antiviral effect against Omicron and other variants of coronavirus in joint non-clinical trials. So it did not provide further details. The firm has been working with Kitasato University, a medical university in Tokyo. Clinical trials evaluating the drug, which is used to treat parasites in animals and humans, are ongoing, but promotion of the drug as a COVID-19 treatment has generated controversy. St. Laurent, exactly. Right-wingers are indeed morons. They don't understand why the things they say are stupid. If you want to know where my catchphrase comes from, then I'm even wearing my t-shirt. My right-wingers are morons t-shirt. You can buy a flag, like my flag back here from the Freak store. The phrase comes from I needed a catch-all phrase to be able to insult libertarians, Republicans, Trumpers, and most of the Democratic Party on Facebook because Facebook doesn't let me call people dumb fucks anymore. So that is where my go-to catchphrase comes from. I mean, I keep proving it. Or better yet, like, you keep proving it in the chat. I love how you came to my YouTube. What did you say? You don't know what capitalism means. You said when you gave me the tip last night, you said because of capitalism. Capitalism isn't the exchange of money and goods. That's not capitalism. If you, Keith's dad, have a boss that signs your checks, you are not a capitalist. I've went over this already on this stream. I don't have a boss. I file my taxes as a small business. I am far more capitalistic than the people that accuse me of not being a capitalist. Chances are I'm far more capitalistic than you are. But he came to my YouTube. I put up a new YouTube trailer, by the way. You guys should totally go check it out. But he said, oh dang, I thought someone put up a video to roast you until I saw that you posted this yourself. The video is two of the biggest left streamers, Lance from the Surfs and Walsh, complimenting me. But yet he thought I put it up as a roast. That doesn't make any sense. Here's the thing, Keith's dad. I can define capitalism. You can't. Everyone should totally go and watch my new YouTube trailer, though. I'm quite proud of it.
Now we turn to YouTuber Justin FREAKIN. The guy's, he's a formidable voice in the culture. Uncensored and unfiltered political talk and debate from a leftist perspective. The day's top news stories and videos with astute social commentary.
Not high enough for this shit. I'm not high enough for this shit.
Establishing is this guy's wicked sick aesthetic.
Right wingers are morons.
You brought back the wrong kind of fucking cake, you idiot.
Guess I got to thank Matt Walsh for introducing me to Justin Freakin.
Yet you're like, we'll pray for somebody. You think you can telepathically thank you, Brian, with a deity, and you have the audacity to say somebody else has a mental disorder. For the love of God. The song is Filter and the Crystal Method. Trip Like I Do. That is one of my that's one of my songs that I test speakers to back when I was doing mobile DJ work. That was like the song I played. Filter and the Crystal Method. Trip Like I Do. Thank you. I think that's it. So I went and noticed that Keith's dad has a YouTube trailer, or has a YouTube channel, where apparently they do like a mystery science theater thing, and they get on Discord or some shit. They talk over old movies. And I'm just going to assume that Keith's dad is upset that his graphics don't look as good as mine. Mate, do you want me to do an intro video for you that looks tight? Is that what it is? Is it jealousy? I will totally put together an intro video for you that will rock your world. Is that what you want? Oh, exactly. For money. I was getting ready to tell him $150 what I charge for something like that. No, you don't. Did Keith's dad, did Keith make that for you? Because that's what it looked like. Oh, I don't have the phone lines open. I'm sorry. Should I do that? Oh, I have a great intro video. Oh shit, what do you want to talk about, Dip? Phones are open. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
Makes them good and bad. So you need to be, what, 32 to be president?
Do what?
Citizen?
I'm actually not hearing you very well.
How's this?
Still not the greatest. What did you say now?
So there's a mix of good and bad. So, like, I think you only need to be 32 to run for American president, right?
35 is what the chat's saying.
Okay, 35. Well, my mission as president is to LARP as a fascist and then use 100 nukes and end this world.
You might have just violated terms of service.
Nah, it's in a video game, in Minecraft.
32 is senator, isn't it? And 25 is congressman? 24 congressman?
Yeah.
Something to that effect? Been a long time since I took a civics class, and you guys know me. I've smoked a lot of pot. I would not vote for you on that platform.
You would.
No, I wouldn't. You've watched this show to know.
A little existential nihilism? Come on.
You've watched this show enough to know that I would not vote for you.
But the greatest thing is it'd be so easy, because, like, all I have to do is study Fox for one day, and then I know the talking points, and then I go on, sell out what little soul I have, and then just, find someone who eventually let me shoot 100 nukes.
You say it's easy, but okay, I was looking through...
Trump became president. Anyone can do it.
I was looking through some old shit the other day, and for the trailer, and I came across the Patriot Patrol from last year's April Fools. I couldn't do this whole show as a right-winger. I kept slipping in and out of character. Like
yeah, but I mean, okay, like so on YouTube, you can say the craziest misinformation and not get booted. But as soon as you have a little bit of LGBT, it's like, whoa, 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 you're not even human. Get off our algorithm, please. Fuck off.
But I'm just saying, like, you have a higher ethical standard, I would assume. I don't think you can keep up the facade.
Yeah, I can.
This is dip, right?
This is dip.
Are you saying that your veganism isn't motivated by a higher ethical standard?
Well, yeah, but if everyone goes, then hopefully the humans won't ever come back, and it'll just be like return to monkey.
But then you kill all the animals too, and what would your veganism have been?
Yeah,
for?
but it'd be a moral neutral because it's utilitarianism, pure form.
Okay, I've never seen the Marvel movies, but this is the Thanos snap thing that Tim Pool was talking about, right?
You did watch Eternals, right? Because Thanos is actually a good guy.
No, I haven't.
So the long and skinny of it is, once a planet gets to a certain point population-wise, the Eternals come and just delete it. So by deleting half the population, and kind of curing the whole civil war between the superheroes and Hydra and all that.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say back to that. I've never seen the movie, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just pure anarcho-primitivism, but without the human.
I'm excited for the new Batman.
Who's acting as him?
What?
Who's going to be playing him?
Robert Pattinson is playing Batman.
Wait, Twilight Boy?
That's what everybody knows him from. But like, what? Like he's such a good actor.
That's his only role.
No, it's not. He's been in all kinds of shit.
Pretty much.
No, he's been in all kinds of good shit.
Wait, wasn't it that airplane movie where he got like hacked up to pieces?
I don't know. I'm usually behind on movies.
That's Twisted Metal Black. My bad.
At Battle Opossum, most hero bullshit is just fucking. They're churning out bullshit to make a buck. So don't waste my time with stupid ass superhero movies.
The fad for movie superheroes and anti-villains, that's over. Now they're like, hey, we can just yoink from Nathan Drake's Uncharted, make a shitty movie with racist ass Mark Wahlberg, who was literally when he was like 10 throwing rocks at black kids and then screaming the N-word as he was doing it.
Is Mark
also there's that whole role that he got because he beat up an 80-year-old Asian man?
Is Mark Wahlberg Sully in that movie?
The only Sully I know is X-Files.
You've never played Uncharted then?
No, I mean I know it's a cinematic masterpiece, and it just kind of glosses over the fact that Nathan Drake murders fucking everyone, and then in the newest one he has a kid, and that's a reason. That's a deal with the fact that he has murdered more people than like a lot of other video game characters.
I don't think he had a kid. I played all 4 of them. I don't think he had a kid unless there's like one I don't know about.
No, he did. It's the Last of Us 2 approach. Kill the main character.
Wait a minute, are you telling me the plot of a video game I've played? Now, it wouldn't be unusual that I don't remember things correctly.
Here's the thing. With the Nathan, it's going to be too much CGI, and it's not going to be like campy like Mario.
Well, I'm not going to watch it anyway, so like...
But no, I'm just saying now, I mean, who knows? I mean, video games is already super common.
I just wanted to know if Marky Mark was playing Sully.
Drake? I think he's the main lead.
No, Tom Holland is playing. Tom Holland is playing Nathan Drake.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
That doesn't make me want to watch it, but I know it's in it.
I'm pretty sure it's Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, and then there was like an old gruff man that guided Nathan Drake through the games, and that was Sully.
Okay.
He was always smoking and drinking and like cussing a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, who knows what movie is next?
Tom Holland is Sully.
What movie is next that Hollywood's gonna pollute with their shitty we don't need to reference the source material. we're just gonna make our own shit because obviously we know better than the people that slaved with the crunch time and not being able to see their relatives or family for like months on a time, and then literally be in a danger panic zone when your first project ends, and now you got to find another one because you're essentially an at-will worker. That because there's so many people that want to work in the gaming business, they can treat you like garbage. Like Activision did to a female coworker. They harassed her after they sexually abused her, and then they made her kill herself.
Yes.
And now, Microsoft is now looking like they bought a new, they absorbed some product, and now they might be breaking up like Activision Blizzard. But I don't know how they're going to do that, only because they'll have to answer to China. And we still like Bing Chillin, we were dear leader, Xi Jinping, that's my boy. That we're still like that kind of weird relationship because we're pissed that they're doing capitalism better than we are.
You said a lot there, Dip. You said like it's hard for me to respond when you're like you're laying so much information down, and I agree with you.
I try not to do a bad face gish gallop, so I end up doing an info dump good gish gallop.
Yeah, I wasn't accusing you of a gish gallop at all, but like it's also
no, but definitely like for people who like don't know better, they'd be like, well, obviously you just watch CNN and the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, you just love that lip cup stuff. It's like
if fucking CNN is talking about any of the issues you just named. That's a dead
they'll
giveaway
touch
that somebody
it, but in
doesn't know what they're talking
a
about.
neoliberal way. I mean, paleoconservatism is really hot right now. Being stupid is in. Being critically thinking is bad. Like just CRT, bad. Mouse, bad. Why can I say anything more? No, I only know 3 words.
No, they
like hang my pants, let's go Brandon. Like it's disgusting. There's multiple stores of Let's Go Brandon near me, and I just kind of wish that someone would accidentally leave a cigarette in an open gas line. It just accidentally burned to the ground with everyone in it. And obviously in Mortal Kombat or in GTA Online, I would never actually advocate for the most painful death to be brought on someone, which is being burned alive.
But that's the way you started the call. You started the call advocating for nuclear annihilation.
The blow.
Stop. No. I wouldn't want everybody to burn to death, but I want nuclear annihilation. Come on.
But the thing is, our nukes might not even be powerful enough. That's the problem. They're not enriched with enough uranium. They need to be pure uranium.
I'm sure we can come up with enough uranium.
Yeah. I mean, we can just like leave over, like we have all that scrap uranium that we could probably just make into a zombie nuke. I mean, we've almost nuked ourselves numerous times. One time was extremely embarrassing. One time was super embarrassing because have you watched John Candy's Planes, Trains, and Automobile with?
Of course.
Okay, so.
Oh, Battle of Possum Keystad is an idiot.
Yes, we had our nuclear password at the time was the one that an idiot would put on his luggage. And a bear accidentally almost slapped it in the right order by pure chance. Then we almost nuked ourselves when we thought the Ruskies were like invading, but it was swans. It was swans. The thing is, like, so Under the Dome by Stephen King?
No. I don't read fiction.
There was like a mini series. It's like 1,000+ page book. But the whole thing is.
Oh, see, like fuck that. No. I read historical shit and stuff.
I mean, it could be historical. Like for example,
I don't read fiction.
If you told the right wingers that there's this magical America land where they can say whatever they want, call Ann Kappenstein if you wish. But it's definitely not near Coconut Island. For all you Walshites.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
So Coconut Island
you always lose me,
basically you giving blowjobs for coconuts. It's kind of it's to show how capitalism is stupid because the workers don't own the means of production. Bernie even tried to advocate for just like 20% in the company, so their labor isn't being stolen by middle managers who have no business being in the employment, and landlords are just bullshit. Shouldn't happen. But we got to have that homeless group, or else like, hey, you gotta be a good work truck, or else you'll be homeless.
Yeah,
and then
slow down. You're too much at once.
People will fuck your shit up just because they perceive you as dirty or like. And the worst part is a lot of veterans are homeless, and as veterans are.
Dib.
Every 6 seconds is what, like a suicide?
Yeah, too much information. You're not having a conversation with me. You're just kind of like one stream of consciousness. And every time I come up with something to say, you're on 5 different topics before.
My bad.
It's okay. I love it.
But no,
love
like,
you very
it,
much.
Yeah, if I don't get the feedback, I'll just be a horrible, like, talking at people rather than with them.
It's totally
cool.
cool.
I guess that's because, like, as we're both aware, right-wingers are morons, and they think that saying Fauci ouchie syndrome is like a mega burn.
Oh,
it's like, no, ouchie is what you say to a child when they get a boo-boo.
No, Keith's dad has the mega burns here. Come on.
Wait, what?
Keith's dad has the mega burns. Have you not been paying attention to the chat?
No.
Oh, he's full of hot takes.
Are we talking about Keith Lambert?
No, the dude in the chat that's trying to dunk on me. They're saying they're saying right now about you that if you talk fast, no one can see you're full of trash. But like Dip didn't say anything that was inaccurate, I assure you. It was just a lot of information at once.
Right wingers are literally the opposite of Ben Shapibo's tagline, which is "Facts don't care about your feelings." They're like, "Well, our feelings don't care about your facts. We don't want to be taught slavery. My grandpappy's pappy had slaves, and like that was expensive, you know." And then they just totally forget that that's not a good argument. It's like, yeah, your family owned people. They couldn't justify why, but they're called snowflakes. And now it's really funny that snowflakes is what they call their perceived leftists, but it's like, bitch, this is a one-party system.
Like the chat is even pointing out the Ben Shapiro strategy of like talking real fast, doing a Gish Gallop.
Yeah. The only thing that he's got going for him is that he usually debates like high schoolers. And like the only thing that he did is like, I don't know, he graduated high school early or something. But like that's a fucking low bar considering he's probably in like Tennessee. Because he can't get his wife a wop.
They're trying to own people. That's the brand of the right wingers right
Yeah, like
now.
when he went to Home Depot and like bought $2 of like popular wood.
Now
like, cool.
Yes.
You don't know how to work with your hands. You are the soy boy that you make fun of. Like at least Joe Rogan, or Rogan as I call him, is a bro. Like he may not be smart at all. And he platforms like some of the most horrific people to ever grace this right-wing grift, like from Alex Jones to Jordy B, Poo Poo Bennett, Candace Owen, Milo Yiannopoulos. But then people are like, oh, but he had Bernie on one time.
Okay. So I wouldn't even call Joe Rogan Joe Rogan isn't really a right winger. He has gotten this faux intellectualism, and his audience is pushing him right.
Like he actually has a guy who can fact check, unlike Cold Feet Chowder with his half black Jack.
What?
And like the disgusting vaudeville that we heard, how he's trying to imitate a black woman.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm totally Stop
with
LARPing as a STEM lord. We know you're a theater bitch, and we know you just totally slide into lumbersexual trans girls' DMs. Like, come on. We know you're not very complex, Stephen. Like, remember when I think it was us.
Deb, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Like, the show's got to end at some point in time because I'm always hungry. I appreciate you calling in.
Hungry.
But like, you dump a lot of information on us at once.
This is true. It's probably because
and you don't let me talk.
To really talk to.
You don't have a conversation with. you do kind of talk at me, but I love you.
Thank you.
And you're always so fun in chat. Yes, you get to call me Muffins. We're close. You are close enough to me to call me Muffins. You can call me Muffins.
Or Big Doug.
Big Doug! Troll Patrol is Big Doug. Yeah, don't let me forget about that. That is great.
A persona.
Maybe for if I do the Patriot Patrol on April 1st again, I'll be Big Doug on the Troll Patrol.
And beware of getting partnership because once you do, you can't dual stream on YouTube and Twitch. You're logged in via contract.
You're acting like I'm going to be partner soon. That ain't fucking happening.
And you never know. Although a right-winger will be very quick to point out, only 11 people are watching. Soy, copium, soy, bat chest.
I know they always like to talk about my view counts, but like I talk about boring shit, and I make fun of a lot of people. So
I think I know why they harp on numbers.
Why?
Because, like, think about it like when the Republican suits. They'll use big numbers when it's totally misleading. And then, you know, with the 820 dead kids, they're like, oh, well, I mean, only 0.01%.
It's only 0.01% of the kids that are dead. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just hide the evidence there. Bury the lead. Because, but then again, it's not like, I mean, there was a position. Okay, obviously,
Stop. You're going somewhere. I'm turning the car around. Just because like it's getting to be my dinner time.
Trump literally was sending like unaided minors back across the desert.
Not going into another topic here.
But it's just like Republicans, my God, like literally bumper sticker position for everything. 3 words or less.
Say bye to everybody.
Bye, chat.
Well, I mean, you could say something profound to them. I wasn't making you say like, you know, something. I wasn't being like brevity now.
Don't be a stand for anyone because anyone is not perfect. Everyone has faults. And with Whoopi, she is as of on a very time schedule where that music was like very happy, and they're talking about the Holocaust.
I know, it was so uncomfortable, and then also it's a discussion that is, it should be in a classroom with a professor.
Yeah,
like, that's
but
not
white
something
people
for.
Feel bad. You can't make white people feel bad.
That's not something for
Thor
network
is the
commercial
perfect
television.
I mean, probably the only good thing that Joe Rogan's podcast does is because he's not a moderator, because he's not very smart, he doesn't push back on anything. So, like, if he gets like the right people on the show, because he'll platform anyone. So you just have to hope that he gets more people that are better for humanity and aren't just making grift for the money.
Well, then, like as I said last night, how in the world is the show not a better show if he doesn't have the consensus expert on before he interviews the nut jobs? But that's the problem, is the nut jobs won't want to come on and be interviewed by somebody who is skeptical of their claims.
I mean, shit, even Chris Wallace, when Trump did that incredibly easy, like, you don't have active dementia test. Man, woman, camera.
Yes.
Oh, wow, yeah, Trump, I took that test, Donnie, and it's not a test, like, in a meaningful way. It's just to prove that you're not actively Ronald Reagan.
You keep going all over the place, Deb, and I'm trying to wrap you up. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
All right, anything else you'd like to say?
You probably can't show bare knuckle brawling on Twitch because of the excessive violence.
Why do you want to wait a minute? Whoa. Why is a vegan wanting to watch somebody get their face pounded into hamburger meat? This doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it does. I care about the animals, not people. People are animals, but they're like not as important as other animals. So we're just parasites, honestly.
I mean, I love animals.
I mean, I'm just kind of a misanthrope, so like this is how I roll. But I make exceptions for different people on a case-by-case basis. But as a society, as a culture,
Deb, why do you keep going off on like a tangent? I need my hamburger. Okay. All right. Do you have salutations for the people?
Salve. That's how actual Latin is. Because unfortunately, in Fallout New Vegas, it's Kaiser. It's like he's not German. He's Roman.
All right, Dip. Have a fantastic evening. Thank you for calling in.
No problem.
I always love it when Dip calls in, but it's we go for a ride. Oh shit. Let's talk about the kid. Apparently, according to Keith's dad, I'm an Elon Musk stan or some shit. You gotta love how people come in here and make a whole bunch of assumptions about me, because that's what right-wingers do. I've actually known that Elon Musk was a fraud for many, many years. I never fell for his bullshit. Motherfucker is the son of a man who owned an emerald mine in apartheid South Africa, made his money from slave labor, received billions in bailouts and subsidies from the U.S. government, and doesn't deserve a dime of it. Everything he's ever invented has been fucking stupid. And he's not even the founder of Tesla. He bought the rights to call himself that. So I love people like this teen who demanded 50 grand from Elon Musk, who is now apparently targeting other billionaires' jets. While Jack Sweeney waits for the Tesla and SpaceX chief to come back to the bargaining table, he hopes to enter a booming industry. Jack Sweeney never intended to get into a standoff with Elon Musk, but Sweeney, 19, says he's now been blocked by the billionaire on social media because, of course, he has. Elon Musk has a fragile little ego. This is, of course, after he turned down a $5,000 offer to shut down a Twitter service that tracks Musk's private jet, and making an unrequited demand for 500 grand, or at least an internship opportunity. I knew he had a plane, as a fan of SpaceX and Tesla stuff, Sweeney said in an interview. I thought the Elon Musk's jet bot would reveal where he's going and what business he's doing. He still hopes Musk will come back to the bargaining table, but in the meantime, he is launching a business called Ground Control that monitors the flight activity of additional high-interest planes. Sweeney, a freshman at the University of Central Florida, launched Elon Musk's jet in June of 2020, and now also wants to make money by tracking other prominent billionaires, including Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. What may have started as a hobby has the potential to become a lucrative venture for the teen. Firms including NASDAQ DataLink have begun offering private and corporate aviation intelligence to clients who hope to get a leg up with critical business information. Atypical corporate travel can provide clues about a company's business activity, mergers and acquisitions, and more. Companies in flight tracking have millions in revenue per year, Sweeney said. Just a small cut of what they make would be good revenue for me. However, launching a business providing real-time location data of private aircrafts presents both privacy and legal concerns. This is publicly available information, so I don't know what privacy concerns there is. Colby Howard, the president of Paragon Intel, which provides corporate aviation intelligence through its product JetTrack, warns that earning a profit from providing this kind of information may have ramifications, much like it did for App Annie, an alternative data provider that got hit with charges from the Securities and Exchange Commission in 2021. Cowboy days of scrapping data and selling it for hundreds of thousands of dollars are long gone, Howard said. You can't just milk it out for as much as you can because there could be legal issues as well. When he says Musk first reached out to him in November of last year requesting the account be shut down because the Tesla CEO viewed it as a security risk, but he refused and turned down a monetary offer to put an end to the service. The amount of time and dedication to put into it is cool, like $5,000 isn't enough to drop it, Sweeney said, adding that he started the project in high school. Instead, the Florida team made a counteroffer of 50 grand, which he hoped could help pay for college or a Tesla Model 3. Musk, whose net worth surged more than $21 billion on Monday to almost $242 billion, demurred. He blocked all social media accounts connected to the Florida teen on Sunday night, Sweeney said. It's kind of strange. He wants it down and seems like he's really mad. Now, as promised, here's a floppy dog playing in the snow. I'm going to go make a hamburger. I lied last night. I said I was having a blue cheeseburger when I got off here. Sparkles had sent over spaghetti, and I completely forgot about it in the time that I was on here. So I had Sparkles spaghetti, and it was fantastic. And I ate almost all of it. I think I still have just a little bit left. Might eat spaghetti and a hamburger. Here's a floppy dog playing in the snow. No, No, sparkle spaghetti. I don't like. Did they braid the dog's hair to look like that, or is that a breed that just looks like that naturally? It clearly loves playing in the snow. A Commodore? I have no clue about dog breeds. I just know puppies are cute, and I like them a lot. You know what we're going to do? Corded fur. Thank you. That's just naturally the way they are. I bet it is a nightmare. And look the way he likes to go out and play. Fuck, I bet it gets dirty as shit. If you're watching on Twitch, we're going to go over and say hey to Igloo BC. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live. Giant dust